Welcome to the debate. So, imagine writing a mathematically flawless physics derivation, but, scoring a 0 simply because you used a light pencil,
Ouch. Yeah, that's brutal.
right? It sounds absurd. But since 2025, CBSE's complete shift to on-screen marking, or OSM, means your physical paper no longer matters. Only the digital scan does.
Exactly. And, that massive shift in the mechanics of grading raises a critical question for any student and their parents trying to maximize their board exam score. Like, should your primary exam strategy focus on visual presentation for a computer screen or strictly on the structural completeness of your mathematical steps?
Well, my stance is that visual formatting and screen readability absolutely dictate your score now. I mean, if an examiner can't effortlessly read your scan on a monitor, you will lose marks, regardless of how brilliant your answer is.
I have to push back there. Examiners aren't grading aesthetics. Strictly hitting the rubric's value points through step-by-step completeness is the true differentiator. The substance of your logic matters far more than the style of your presentation.
But the physical reality of on-screen marking literally changes the rules of the game. Examiners aren't flipping pages anymore.
Right, they're looking at a screen.
Yeah, they are clicking through segmented image files. If your derivation spills out of the scanner's crop zone, that digital crop literally deletes your logic. When an examiner is viewing backlit monitors for hours on end, dark ink, bold question numbers, and strict margins are absolute survival tools. The computer screen acts as a filter.
I come at it from a different way. Examiners do not grade holistically based on how visually pleasing a paper looks on their UI. They are explicitly trained to hunt for specific steps, formulas, or statements mandated by the official marking scheme.
Sure, but if they can't see it...
Wait, let me finish this thought. An aesthetically beautiful paper that skips a crucial middle step in a chemistry equation is going to lose marks, period. But a mathematically complete answer that documents every single logical step will capture full or partial credit, even if the handwriting is messy.
Okay, but your focus on text ignores half the paper. What happens when the rubric demands a visual, like a p-n junction diode diagram?
Yeah, diagrams are tricky.
Exactly. Under OSM, a small, lightly penciled diagram might look totally fine on the physical desk, but it doesn't scan. It becomes a blurry smudge on the screen. In that scenario, presentation is the literal difference between getting the mark and getting a 0.
Okay. I'll concede that a faint diagram is a technical failure, which is exactly why, practically speaking, diagrams should take up at least a third of the page and be labeled in pen. But let's shift to numericals and derivations, which carry massive weight.
Right.
If you write down the given data, set up the correct formula, and show your substitutions, you earn marks even if your final calculation is entirely wrong. The scanner might capture a bold, beautifully formatted final answer perfectly, but if the preceding steps aren't there, you score a 2 out of 5.
I'm not convinced by that line of reasoning because, well, even if a student writes down every single one of those value points, what happens if they write them as one massive wall of text?
Oh, the wall of text.
Yes. Finding a single valid formula buried in a dense paragraph on a monitor is like trying to scan a smudged barcode. The computer and the examiner's fatigued eye just rejects it. If the answer is visually impenetrable, the student still loses the mark.
I'll grant you that a wall of text causes eye strain, but aesthetic structure is completely worthless without mathematical substance. Breaking down a 5-mark question into an introduction, main steps, and a conclusion isn't about making it pretty.
It's about making it readable.
It's about isolating the value points. The substance itself dictates the structure. You break it down because each of those components represents a specific check mark on the rubric.
Visual contrast is the prerequisite for that structure to even be seen, which means the ultimate strategy isn't just writing the right answer. It's engineering your answer sheet so that the rubric points are impossible for an examiner to miss.
Precisely. Because examiners aren't stepping back and asking, does this student generally understand chemistry? They are looking at a specific zone on a screen and asking, is the formula written here? Yes or no? Which is why you have to document every partial step.
And please don't rely on the 500 rupee reevaluation process later.
Never! Reevaluation doesn't mean a new examiner reread your paper to find hidden genius. It's a strictly mechanical check to see if the original examiner missed tallying a value point that is explicitly visible on the screen.
So the practical takeaways for the exam hall are clear, right? Use dark ink, make your diagrams large enough to survive compression.
Right, and break down those long answers so your knowledge doesn't get lost in the digital translation. The system isn't trying to trick you. By understanding how the grading mechanics actually work, you have the power to secure the marks you deserve right in the exam hall.
You know exactly who is on the other side of that screen now. The only question left is, which strategy will you prioritize when you finally sit down to rate?